What's up, everybody? It's your guy, Mr. E. Listen, Baltimore is happening. I can't keep quiet. I have a few things I'd like to say just to bring a perspective now on my timeline, especially on Facebook, my personal page. I post a lot of things. I have a lot of conversations. I like to keep it intelligent. I like to keep it engaging so I can get all sides of the coin. But I just want to lay out a few things about the situation just from my view. And please feel free to share it or discuss it or let's comment on it and do the whole thing, all right? I'll try not to make it too long. First, for those that are shocked by the rioting that continues to happen when African American people get upset, let's remember you cannot have an explosion if there's not pressure built up. Freddie Gray was the top taken off of the shaking up Coke bottle, right? Things have been going on like that in Baltimore for decades, years. And when this happened to Freddie Gray, and the climate and the time just happened to be just right that an eruption was due. So you can't get mad that people are sick and tired of being sick and tired and they express their anger in protest and even in rioting. All right? So let's speak about the rioting. When you get upset, do you just, go down the street and blow off steam or whatever? Or do you grab whatever's close and maybe hit your fist or you hit whatever, but you don't take time? Because when you take time, that's when you have time to think. But if you don't want to think about it, if something needs to happen right now, you just do whatever, right? So rioting is an unfortunate consequence, but it's still based on the anger that was started over the years of disenfranchisement and what happened with Freddie Gray. So I can't get mad at the reaction. I'm definitely not mad at protesting. We need more protests because things are bad in cities like Baltimore. It's not just Baltimore. Things are just terrible in cities like that. When we talk about rioting, I want to make sure that there are thinkers out there that are looking to take this to the next level. What is the next step? And we never seem, as a community, because we watch too much television, we never seem to consider what the next steps will be. We always say, stop, don't do that. And then once we stop doing that, everybody goes back to their regularly scheduled programming, which is unfortunate because we're missing out on a great opportunity. If I'm a black man and I have access to capital and everybody's talking about this CVS, the CVS gets knocked down, the person with capital should be able to say, well, listen, let me connect some dots and let's rebuild the CVS. But it won't be a CVS. This will be a black-owned pharmacy. It'll still have the same prescriptions. It'll still have the same. I will cater to the same old stuff, and you can still cater and feed into. Or if I rebuild a CVS, let the brother come back and franchise it, build it back up, and it's gone. But we have to start thinking on that next level. How do we rebuild? If we're going to tear it down, if we're going to burn it up, what are we going to do to rebuild it? Now think about what the outcomes of this will be. If we rebuild it, we can rebuild this to fit what we actually need to serve the people that are living there. And we can do it ourselves. Now, that's something that most people aren't considering, and maybe they may not even want it to have you consider it, but I'm going to challenge you to do it. If you have capital, if you know some people that have access to capital in Baltimore or in any town that's being disenfranchised, have them come back and have them rebuild to see how they can connect those dots back. Because right now, the radar is on Baltimore. Everyone's eyes are open, ears are open, conversations are happening, and they want to see what they can get done. So the question that I'll pose to you is, how will you rebuild Baltimore or the places that have been affected? All right? Rebuild. So let's talk about Mama. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Mama saw her son protesting. She went and grabbed son and she bopped him upside the head a couple times. Boop, 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 get your butt in the house. She said, get your behind in the house. I was like, all right, Mom, I feel you. And so on my timeline, the response to that was split because half the timeline is saying, whoop-de-doo, way to go, Mom. That's how you do it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then the other half of my timeline is saying, Mom just emasculated her son on live television. And so, everyone is giving their takes and things like that. And I'm like, I don't know how I feel about it. I won't necessarily say that she's a hero, but I also won't say that she emasculated her son. No. Here's how I view it. And you can agree, you can disagree. It's all good with me. Let's just keep it respectful. Let's keep the conversation going. As a parent, you know when your child is going to be involved in foolishness. Now, I say foolishness because the young man was dressed in all black, had on a hoodie, had his face covered. You ain't up to no good like that. So, if mama sees that, now here's the thing about parents. We can see your future when you begin to display certain behaviors. Well, adults, caring adults, if you care about young people, you can start to see these stories being told based on behaviors. And once mama, after all this had transpired, she got on TV, that first interview, she said, I don't want to see my son be another Freddie Gray. Now, if we know anything about Freddie Gray, he was not an angel. He had been arrested several times on possession and theft and all this, that, and the other. And the story goes that he had made eye contact with the police officer and took off running. Whatever happened ensued. His back ended up being broken. Now, if mom is thinking about that, and then she sees her son over here with all black on, with the brick in his hand, like he's about to commit something, that's going to give the cops a reason to do something similar to Freddie Gray if they catch up to him. She didn't want to see that for her son. That is a parental instinct, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If I spotted my son, if I spotted my daughter willing to engage in some foolishness, you finna get your butt back in that house. I can't hate on that. I can't hate on that at all. But I hope that it didn't stop there. Because if mom were to be a true hero, she would have taught that young man not only just to get out the street, but if you're going to be out here, here's how you do it. You put on this suit. You uncover your face. You stand by these men who are doing it the right way and let them guide you into how this thing is done. That's a heroic thing that a parent, that mom could have done for that son. And if she sees this, maybe she will, maybe she won't. But if she does, or if any parents does, I will hope that that would be your next step, because it's not that he's wrong for protesting. It's wrong. What was wrong was that he was about to engage in foolishness and call it protesting. That's not it. If you're going to protest, you go and you stand face, not covered face, but full face to face with a cop and say, you will not do this to us any longer. Please stop. You need to back up. We can take care of ourselves. Why would you do this? And you would hope that a response would come back similar from the cops saying, we don't want to do this. We want to make sure that you're protected. We're here for this, that, and the other. And the conversation ensues to build change in that community. That's what I would hope would happen. For the young people that are watching it, here's a tip that I'll give to you, no charge. Especially if you're a black child. Stay on this side of the law. No matter what, but especially if you're black, stay on this side of the law. Because if you're paying attention to what's happening, young people are being targeted based on how you look. Just like they were in the 60s. And just like it was when I was growing up, where they say we hang together, our clothes are all big. If it's 6 or 7 people just hanging on the corner, that might be a gang. So we need to go and break that up. Listen. Stay on this side of the law. If you're not doing anything wrong, do not challenge the cops. When they give you your instructions, just obey them. You don't have to like it. Just obey them and get out the way and stay on this side of the law. Because if you give a cop a reason to restrain you and you resist in any way, even if it's a flinch, it could go to another level that no one wants to see it go. You have your opportunities to fight. You can fight for wrongdoings through social media. You can do YouTube channels. You can write to your commissioners and legislators and mayors and let them know. You can write to the chief of police or record and threaten to send it to news networks. You can do these things. These are your ways to do these things civilly. But fighting with cops in that moment is not going to be a win for you. We don't want to see any more Freddie Grays. We don't want to see any more Mike Browns. We don't want to see any more of those. So if I'm going to challenge you to do anything, stay on this side of the law. Adults, to all my grown folks that's out there, be careful what information you consume. I'll say it again. Be careful what information you consume. TV networks, news networks are business. They make money based on keeping you pissed off. Have you not noticed just how many unarmed black male crimes are being shown on television? That's because when they're shown, everybody turns to the news networks to see what's going on, to build an opinion. Each network is going to drive an agenda that's going to either have you agree with them or disagree with them. But it's all about the money. That's just going to help them pay their advertisers more money. And when they do that, when they do those things, it only works out better for them. Be careful what you consume. Be careful how you respond to it. I would rather, you see, I could have made this video any day this week, but I want to make sure that I talked to people, that I looked at certain things and got certain feedback from folks and engaged in certain conversations so that I can have an informed view. And I would hope that you would do the same thing, adults, because understand that young people especially are watching everything you do. And I can say words all day long, but the one thing that matters are what my actions do, what my actions say. And the way that I move, the way that I speak, the way that I carry myself, that's what's ultimately going to be emulated by the young people that are aware of who I am and what I do. So adults, please be careful what you consume. Be careful how you respond to this, and make sure that education is your first priority when relaying this information to your young people. All right? Listen, that's my time. I hope it wasn't too long. I hope I said something that made some sense to y'all. Let's keep the conversation going, man, because this cannot stop. We cannot allow injustice to happen around the country. We have to be willing to speak up, but we have to do it in a manner that is uplifting, that is educational, that is open, and that is productive, so that we can see change happen in this country. I love y'all, man. Keep up the good work. Let's fight together. Let's get some good work done, all right? Peace. Boom.